no problem. Uh, Very good morning to everyone. And I can say it is just morning, around 1 o'clock at my place. And I can say in the start, it's a really good initiative taken by the Sanjeevani Biotech Foundation. And I'm really privileged to be the part of this. And everybody, it is being started for last 3 months for the webinar, I think. And many speakers has come and given the insights what they could contribute to the peoples, to the young generations, young scientists. They are able to come. And so today I'm going to say something regarding the research philosophy, but actually it is not the philosophy I'm going to say, because there is no point to do with this one. The thing is that actually we are doing the research that is to give the to increase the human knowledge, and that is going to add up with the existing knowledge stock. And the beauty of research is that, or we can say the problem in the research, we are looking for something that we don't know, that is unknown. We don't know. Suppose like we are looking for someone in a gathering of 100 peoples and looking for some person we don't know. So we are going to make some assumptions, and on the basis of that assumptions, we have to find this. So I'm going to say a well-known story of blinds and the elephants, and probably many people who are knowing this story is that there are 6 blind people were there, and they never saw the elephant. They just came to know there is an animal that is named elephant, and how is the physical appearance of that animal. And as they could not see it, like we are researcher, we don't know the real things. We have to just perceive by the part of this what we can touch by the research experience. So they could just touch the animals, the elephant, and then they could say how the animals looks like, or how is the physical appearance of this elephant. So depending on the part of the elephant they could touch, like if they touch the trunk, they could say it is a elephant is like a thick snake, like a python. And who touches the ear, this that person say that it looks like a fan. I can say it may be the hand fan. And who touch the leg is like a big pillar, like elephant is a pillar like animal. It's like a tree trunk. Who touches the abdomen part, like the side things, they said that person said it's like a wall. And who touches the tail, elephant looks like a rock. And who touch the tusk, it is a nuclear object, smooth and hard. So again, in the research perspectives, can we say, are they right? Are all they right or wrong? None of them are right and none of them are wrong. So they are describing whole elephants, entire elephants, in different perspectives, how they perceived it. And all of them are partially correct, as well as at the same time, they are partially wrong too. So the one thing is that the subjectivity is that if one's experience is true, it does not mean others are wrong and that person is really true. So in the research, so how we can say is that in this scenario, how can say the how the full appearance of the elephants, if they all collaborate together, and then they could say this is the whole elephant. So same thing in the research, we are touching the one aspects of the particular topics, particular subjects, and we are collaborating with or believing on the published research by the others, and then on that basis we are getting the knowledge or we are getting the global picture of any particular things. Like if you are working on the cancer, somebody is working in the one part of the cancer, other is working on the another part of the cancer, and then collaboratively we are telling that this cancer is a multifactorial stuff. But everybody is not dealing with the all things. One person has explored the one part, other person has explored another part. So is as the part of research, somewhere it is explained as a like if suppose this black circle is the whole human knowledge base at this moment. So when we are going for the elementary school, the blue part, we are getting that much knowledge from the whole human knowledge. We are going to the high school, we are getting more. We are getting into the bachelor, we are getting some broad knowledge as well as some specialized knowledge. When we are going for the master, then we are getting more specialization. And then name as a master, we are expect to know at this level to everything, whatever is available already in the public domain, all knowledge base published through the research or research publications, to know in that particular area, to know everything. I don't know, Mike, sorry. Yes. So means we are on the boundary of the knowledge base in that particular topics. So if we are going to do the research, we are doing the pushing the boundary, and we are making the dent, a small dent in the human knowledge base, and we are adding into the human knowledge base. So this is the research we are adding in the knowledge bank. So, but although it is very negligible part we are adding, but it is really a significant things what we are going to add into the knowledge base. So we are contributing very small, but it really big means a big. So like the scientific research philosophy, it says that the scientist generates the ideas, and that ideas going to the knowledge bank in the context of research. I'm not going to say in details the research philosophy, but because that is not a point of to discussion here. So, but in the research paradigm, there are three important components. That is the epistemology, that is the reality of the nature, real knowledge of the nature. And in the ontology, we are making assumptions to understand the particular reality of the knowledge. So general assumptions created to perceive the real nature of the society. And then the methodology, the scientists use the different technological combinations to explore the situation and to prove the assumption. So scientific research builds and organizes the knowledge in the form of testable explanation and the predictions. So in the science, the main thing is that the research are being done in the different subject areas, like the artistics as well as the humanities. They are researcher based mostly, like they can make the assumption on the basis of existing knowledge, and they are concluding, and they are researchers has the different opinions, and on that basis they are making the conclusion. But in the scientific research, it can be tested by anyone. So the scientific information provides, scientific research provides the scientific information and the theories for the explanation of the nature and the properties of the world. And it really requires intelligence, imaginations, and a lot of creativity. And as everybody knows, for any things in the research, first we have to start with the observations. This step of the observation, this is the first step where we are looking for a initial existing knowledge gap. Like if we are doing the research for the cancer, So just we cannot say anything, okay, we are going to do the research on the cancer. No, what information we know about the cancer, and then we are going to build on that. Suppose if this is a tumor suppressor gene is going to do something in the cancer things. So we are going to identify that gap, and then we are hypothesizing how this gene or how this knowledge gap is going to means what this knowledge gap, how it is participating in the cancer augmentation or in the progressing the cancer disease, and how we can find out what could be that factor. Again, as I said, we are going to look for the unknown things, and then we predict it, and on that basis of predictions we design the experiments, and we do the experiment and then collect the data, we analyze that data, and we, after interpretation, we come into the conclusion that this is the things what we had started in the, this could be the hypothesis, and that hypothesis becomes true, and that can be repeated many times by the different persons, different scientists all over the world, whoever they want. But again, the hypothesis is the hypothesis. This cannot be true always. First hypothesis, if after analyzing we can find out that is not the right hypothesis, we can go back again on the hypothesis, make the another hypothesis, and then we go for again the whole algorithm to do the experiments until we reach to the final conclusion, and that makes sense to build and to fill that knowledge gap. So this is the, just I can say, is the research things, and as part of the young generation or the all the researchers or even the students who are coming into the research field, they are planning to come into research field, they have to recognize for the individual capability, and then many things happens like they should get inspiration from the others, but they should not get like the frustrated. Like suppose somebody is doing the PhD, they published a good paper, they are in very good institutes, but somebody could not reach there, does not mean that person cannot do the good work. Definitely there will be some circumstances they cannot, that persons cannot get all the opportunity, but still they have the capability, they can do it. So they should get inspired first, but they should not get frustrated. They should do the self assessment in what part, what kind of research they are good. They should find the their strength, and everybody has their own style, like the lifestyle, everybody has the research styles too, so they can focus on their style. Means person should not be the careless, but still they can follow their own style. They don't need to copy others always, and praise yourself. Whatever you are doing, you are doing good. Don't get frustrated, and don't blame yourself always that okay, you didn't do good, you didn't do the proper way. If it is not the proper way, go back and start doing again, and focus on your research, and then you should collaborate. As you can recall from the story of the elephant with the blinds, only one person cannot do everything. So you have to collaborate with others to gain the whole insight of the information, and then on that basis you can know the reality, what problem we can proceed with. And definitely you ask for the suggestions and ideas to your peers, to your colleagues, because in the science field, in the research field, everybody's are infant. Because if a bachelor person is doing the research project, if I don't have the expertise in that area, even I'm the PhD with so many years of the postdoc, I may not know that things. So I should learn from the others. And if I have to do same things, and if bachelor persons has the experience of that part, that area of the research, they could have the more experience than me in that particular topics, and then becomes the explorer, explore the many things, explore, try to find the knowledge gap where you can contribute, try to find your ability, never question your ability that you cannot do it. Definitely you can do it. Whatever your ability is there, you can do according to that. There are a lot of opportunities are available at the different level of the things. It does not mean that whoever is in a biotechnology, they have to really go for the postdoctoral research to get the job. You really don't need. If you are doing the bachelor, you are doing the master, there are jobs opportunities are there at the different levels. Probably a couple of topics speakers are going to speak today. They are going to say something after the masters only. You can go for the government job. Earlier also some of the speakers probably has mentioned about this. All the job opportunities available at the different stages. Even after PhD, people can go for the uh, different government jobs, like the scientific jobs. And many people's like in India, it is a trend, or even in the abroad, it is trend to go for the postdoctoral research. But one thing for the postdoctoral, I can say, don't go for a long time. It's good to go for 4 or 5 years. 5 years is good. And if you are thinking it is fruitful, then it's good. Otherwise, if you are stuck in the postdoctoral research, sometimes it is really frustrating. If you are getting opportunity in the academic research is good, but industry has a lot of opportunities at the different stage of the different varieties of the positions they have, and they are really paying good too in comparison to the academics. And if you are you have the ideas, if you have the capability, you can start your own startup. You can be the entrepreneur. You can be the job giver in place of getting the job getter, job finder. So like the in the short, there are job opportunities. Everybody is thinking who is in the research that R&D scientist is the main job they want. During my PhD also, whenever I was offered, not offered, I was asked what kind of job you want. I said, oh, I want to go for R&D. Yes, because I didn't have that much knowledge that only R&D is the place where scientist works. But if you explore it, you can know there are a lot of opportunities are available. Even in the industry perspectives, I can say that application scientist, if you really not interested to do the bench work anymore, so different name of the application scientist, like the field application scientist, technical training scientist, field support scientist, you really don't need to be involved on the bench research, but you are close to the research too. So you are going to do the business of research. And for this, if your skill is like that, like you have the technical knowledge of the research and you have the good communication skills, you are the right fit for this one. In this kind of job, application scientist, you can build a good network, and as well as you have the opportunity to travel a lot. So if you are a travel lover, it's really great opportunity. If you have interest in a lot of reading, writing, and innovating stuffs, intellectual property or patent manager, patent lawyer, patent manager is the right fit position for you guys. And if you need to be in this position, you need to be very detail oriented. You really need to have a lot of reading and writing skills, and you will get an opportunity to look for a new innovative research all over the world, and you need to draft the new patent applications for the organizations you are working for. Another position comes in the row is like the technology transfer scientist. In this case, again, you are not going to do mostly the bench work, but the R&D department, R&D scientist who has developed the ideas, that ideas you have to bring into the market for the commercialization. That ideas will, you are responsible for that ideas to bring in the market. And for this, you have to evaluate the commercial potential of that product for the technology. You have to license them. You need to look for the approval of that technology. If this is medical equipment, it is medical drug from the respective authority like the FDA or so. Again, you could be the scientific advisor. So you have to very updated with the new technologies, whatever is going on in the particular field, and you will be the advisor for the scientific R&D team to develop new stuffs. What is in the real time scenario is important. You could look for the scientific writers. If you have a good writing skills, you really didn't go for the literature studies, but still you want to be the science, at least you are going to write scientific things, and you will enjoy the science as well as the writing skills. R&D project manager, just I enlisted few of the technology positions where you can go without going to the bench research. So one of them is a R&D project manager. That R&D project manager is responsible for the research project management, the planning of the research project, and implementing it. And also the R&D project manager is responsible to oversee and to ensure that whatever the financial support is there, that is being utilized properly and judiciously. And the manager is responsible and monitoring the progress of research that is going on the strategic time plan. It is not going late, it is on the time. It should not going to hamper the other research. Again, there's a technical and sales specialist. If you are good in the selling the stuff, you are good for these positions. You have to understand the client's need. If somebody is asking for, I have this kind of things, what I should do, what kind of equipment will be good for their right kind of microscope you want, to this kind of microscope, this kind of protein purification tools, techniques you want. For this, you need to be updated with the all new technologies, whatever available in the market, or if you are working with particular company, particular industry, you have to be updated with the recent technology which is available with the company. If and another one following position is that the medical science liaison, that is also very good position, that is mostly in the pharmaceutical companies, where you need to have the very deep knowledge, very deep recent knowledge of the therapeutic areas of the research, and you have the ability to communicate this research knowledge to the medical professionals like the doctors. And you really need to have the good interpersonal skills to make a good network connections. And then you have to explain the recent medical research to the medical professionals, and you can sell the medical device or the medical drugs. Not you are not responsible for selling. This is just misnomer for the medical science liaison. They have said that you are the kind of medical representative, but no, you are just going to convey your recent research things to the medical professionals. And then there is another position, that is regulatory affairs manager. That is really good positions if you are good for the readings, studyings, a lot of paperworks. You have to be involved in this. But again, you will be away from the bench work, but you are close to the research, mostly for the clinical research. And you need to have the in-depth regulatory regulations, recent regulations, updated with the recent regulations. And you need to know you should have the knowledge of the drug development life cycles. You will be responsible for the regulatory compliance of the organizations, and you will be working with the R&D scientists to meet the regulatory, to convey them the regulatory compliance, regulatory rules that can be utilized there. So there are multiple opportunities are available there, and you don't really need to go for the R&D and R&D scientist. If you are good in that, great, go ahead. But many people get frustrated that, okay, I'm not really great in the doing research, but I like the science. So these are kind of some positions you can choose, and you can go ahead. So there are multiple opportunities are there, and so yeah, so that's all I wanted to say actually. And for my contact details, this is my email address, and you can connect me with the LinkedIn if you want. Whatever information, if I have anything, I will be happy to communicate with you guys. So thank you very much. So
Thank you, Avneet ji.
you are welcome.
Doctor. हेलो, एक एक क्वेश्चंस था
मेरे लिए
डॉक्टर अवनीत। हाँ
जी
हाँ हाँ हाँ। एक पार्ट थोड़ा सा बच्चों के लिए डिस्कस कर, क्वेश्चंस नहीं है, बस जस्ट एक इन्फॉर्मेशन शेयर करने के लिए कि
हाँ
अगर बच्चे जो भी यहाँ के बच्चे आपकी तरह बाहर जाना चाहते हैं या क्या क्या गेटवेज है, थोड़ा सा उस पर फोकस कर देते 1 मिनट 2 मिनट में।
एक्चुअली
ट्राई करना चाहिए।
मैं तो पीएचडी करने के बाद पोस्ट डॉक में ही आया हूँ यहाँ पे, और स्पेसिफिकली बिकॉज ऑफ द ग्लोबलाइजेशन इंटरनेट में बहुत सारी इंफॉर्मेशन अवेलेबल हैं, और आई थिंक कि मेरे से पहले लक्ष्मी मिश्रा ने भी शायद कुछ बताया था डिटेल्स में कि what are the opportunity for
Is anything different from that information? If you have some unique, individual information, then
really I'm not updated with that because I'm not in touch with any PhD fellowships here, but there are many fellowships are there. I think Nehru fellowships are there. People can try and look on the globally. If really somebody wants, can get in touch with me. I can try to find out some informations, and I can give.
yes.